At precisely midnight on October 15th, 1887, the most famous clockmaker in London stopped breathing. But the clocks in his shop, they kept ticking, and one of them held a secret worth killing for. Welcome to Victorian London. Tonight, you'll learn English through mystery. Are you ready to solve the clockmaker's secret? Good evening, dear learner. Before we begin our investigation, let me paint you a picture. To paint a picture means to describe something vividly, in detail. The year is 1887. Queen Victoria has ruled Britain for 50 years. London is the largest city in the world, a place of gaslight and shadows, of grand mansions and dark alleyways. Our story takes place in Clerkenwell, a district famous for its clockmakers and jewelers. The fog, we call it the London fog, or sometimes a pea souper, because it's as thick as pea soup, rolls through the cobblestone streets. Now, let us meet our detective.
Inspector Charlotte Gray is most unusual for her time. You see, in Victorian England, female detectives are practically unheard of. Practically unheard of means extremely rare, almost impossible. But Charlotte is not an ordinary woman. At 32 years of age, she has a sharp mind and an even sharper tongue. A sharp tongue is an idiom. It means she speaks cleverly and sometimes critically. She earned her position through one remarkable case. She solved the Kensington diamond theft when every male detective had failed. The commissioner had no choice but to acknowledge her abilities. To acknowledge means to recognize or accept something as true. It is 6:30 in the morning when Inspector Gray receives the summons. A summons is an official request to go somewhere, usually urgently. The message reads, "Inspector Gray, your presence is required immediately at 47 Clerkenwell Road. A gentleman has been found deceased under suspicious circumstances." Charlotte arrives at the shop. The sign above the door reads, "Edmund Thorne, Master Clockmaker, established 1851. A constable, that's a police officer, stands guard at the door.
Good morning, Inspector. The body was discovered at 6 o'clock by the shop assistant, Mr. William Fletcher. He has been detained for questioning. Detained means kept in a place, not allowed to leave. Very well. Has anything been disturbed? Disturbed here means moved or touched, altering the original scene. No, ma'am. We have maintained the integrity of the scene. To maintain the integrity means to keep something in its original unchanged state. Charlotte enters the shop. Hundreds of clocks line the walls. Grandfather clocks, pocket watches, mantel clocks. They tick in a symphony of time. A symphony usually means musical harmony, but here it's used metaphorically. Edmund Thorne lies slumped in his chair behind the workbench. He is a man of perhaps 60 years, with grey hair and spectacles hanging crookedly on his nose. There is no visible wound, no sign of struggle.
Curious. Very curious indeed. She bends down to examine the body more closely. There is a faint smell. Bitter almonds. Her eyes narrow. She has encountered this before. To narrow one's eyes means to partially close them, often when thinking suspiciously or concentrating hard. Constable, send for Dr. Morrison immediately. I suspect poison, likely cyanide, judging by the scent of almonds.
In any proper mystery, we must consider the suspects. To consider means to think carefully about something. Let me introduce you to our cast of characters. A cast means the group of people in a story or play. Suspect number 1. William Fletcher, the shop assistant. William is 28 years old, thin, and nervous. He has worked for Mr. Thorne for 7 years. He discovered the body this morning when he arrived to open the shop. Mr. Fletcher, please describe the events of this morning in as much detail as possible. In as much detail as possible means including every small fact you can remember. William, I arrived at precisely 6 o'clock, as I do every morning. The door was locked from the inside. I used my key to enter. I called out for Mr. Thorne, but received no answer. I found him here at his bench, exactly as you see him now. You say the door was locked from the inside. Are you quite certain? Are you quite certain is a formal way of asking, are you completely sure? William, yes, Inspector. The deadbolt was engaged. Only 2 keys exist, Mr. Thorne's and mine. Engaged here means activated or turned on. Charlotte makes a mental note. To make a mental note means to remember something carefully without writing it down.
Suspect number 2, Lady Margaret Ashford, the wealthy client. Lady Margaret is a woman of high society. This means she belongs to the upper class, the wealthy and influential people of Victorian England. She arrives at the shop mid-morning, dressed in expensive mourning clothes. Mourning clothes are special black garments worn after someone dies. Lady Margaret, I have just heard the dreadful news. Mr. Thorne was completing a commission for me, a most valuable piece. A commission is a piece of work ordered and paid for. Charlotte, what sort of piece, Lady Ashford? Lady Margaret, a pocket watch, but not an ordinary one. It contains a hidden compartment for personal correspondence. Mr. Thorne was one of the few craftsmen skilled enough to construct such a delicate mechanism. Personal correspondence means private letters. Charlotte, I see. And when did you last visit the shop? 3 days ago. Mr. Thorne informed me the watch would be ready by week's end. I had paid him £200 in advance. £200 in 1887 is equivalent to roughly £20,000 today, a considerable sum. Considerable means large, significant. Suspect number 3, Marcus Thorne, the estranged son. Marcus is Edmund's only son. However, they have been estranged for 5 years. Estranged means separated, no longer close, usually due to a disagreement. Marcus is a gambler, someone who bets money on games of chance. He has accumulated significant bets. To accumulate means to gather or collect over time. Charlotte, when did you last see your father? 5 years ago, Inspector. We had a falling out over my lifestyle choices. Father disapproved of my gambling. A falling out is an idiom meaning a serious disagreement that ends a relationship. To disapprove means to have a negative opinion about something. Charlotte, yet you have come here today. I heard rumors that Father intended to change his will. I came to reconcile, but I arrived too late. To reconcile means to restore a friendly relationship after a disagreement. Is he telling the truth? Charlotte remains skeptical. Skeptical means doubtful, not easily convinced. Charlotte returns to the workshop to conduct a thorough examination. Thorough means complete, paying attention to every detail. On the workbench, she finds 4 things. 1. A half-finished pocket watch. 2. Various tools arranged neatly. 3. A teacup still containing a small amount of cold tea.
4. A ledger, a book recording business transactions. Charlotte, the teacup. Constable, please ensure this is tested for poison. She opens the ledger and reads the most recent entries. Her eyebrows rise. One's eyebrows rise when one is surprised. Charlotte, fascinating. Mr. Thorne recorded every commission, including detailed descriptions. But look here, Lady Ashford's entry has been partially erased. Partially means incompletely, not entirely. She can still make out some words. Hidden compartment, compromising letters, payment, £200. Compromising letters means letters that could damage someone's reputation if revealed. Charlotte now examines the clocks themselves. Victorian detectives believe that criminals always leave clues. To leave clues means to unintentionally provide evidence. She notices something peculiar. Peculiar means strange, unusual.
One grandfather clock in the corner is stopped at precisely midnight, the time of death according to Dr. Morrison's preliminary examination. Preliminary means initial, done before the main investigation. But every other clock in the shop is working perfectly, ticking away in harmony. Charlotte, why would this one clock stop at the exact moment of death? She opens the clock case and peers inside. To peer means to look closely, often with difficulty. There, tucked behind the pendulum, is a small envelope. Narrator, her heart quickens. One's heart quickens means it beats faster, usually from excitement or fear. She carefully removes the envelope. Inside is a letter, written in neat handwriting. My dearest colleague, I have become aware that my life is in danger. The commission I have undertaken for Lady A has placed me in a precarious position. She requires a watch with a secret compartment to hide letters, letters that would ruin her reputation and that of a certain gentleman of high standing. However, I have discovered that these letters concern a matter of national security. I have informed the authorities, but I fear Lady A has learned of my betrayal. If you are reading this, it means I have been proven correct. Look to the watch. The answer lies within the mechanism itself. Your friend, Edmund Thorne.
The plot thickens is an idiom meaning the situation becomes more complicated and mysterious. Charlotte must now locate the pocket watch. But where is it? She searches the workshop systematically. Systematically means in an organized, methodical way. The watch is not on the workbench, not in the drawers, not in the safe, which stands open and empty. Charlotte. Constable, was the safe found open? Constable. Yes, Inspector, just as you see it now. Then either Mr. Thorne opened it himself before he died, or... She doesn't finish the sentence. Instead, she considers the possibilities. To consider the possibilities means to think about different explanations. Possibility 1. Edmund opened the safe himself. Perhaps he removed the watch to hide it elsewhere. Possibility 2. The murderer opened the safe. But how? Only Edmund knew the combination. Possibility 3. The watch was never in the safe at all. Charlotte's instinct tells her to focus on the people who were present. Instinct is natural intuition, a feeling about what is true. She summons all 3 suspects to the workshop. To summon means to formally call someone to attend. Charlotte. Constable, was the safe found open? Constable. Yes, Inspector, just as you see it now. Then either Mr. Thorne opened it himself before he died, or... She doesn't finish the sentence. Instead, she considers the possibilities. To consider the possibilities means to think about different explanations. Possibility 1. Edmund opened the safe himself. Perhaps he removed the watch to hide it elsewhere. Possibility 2. The murderer opened the safe. But how?
Only Edmund knew the combination. Possibility 3, the watch was never in the safe at all. Charlotte's instinct tells her to focus on the people who were present. Instinct is natural intuition, a feeling about what is true. She summons all 3 suspects to the workshop. To summon means to formally call someone to attend. Charlotte. Lady Ashford, Mr. Thorne, Mr. Fletcher. I have asked you here because I believe one of you is responsible for Edmund Thorne's death. The room falls silent. Falls silent means becomes suddenly quiet. Charlotte. Furthermore, I believe the motive relates to a certain pocket watch, a watch containing a hidden compartment. Motive means the reason for doing something, especially a crime. Lady Margaret, Inspector, I assure you.
Charlotte, please, Lady Ashford, allow me to present my deductions. Deductions are conclusions reached through logical reasoning. This is the moment every detective story builds toward. Charlotte will now explain her reasoning step by step. Pay close attention to the vocabulary of logic and reasoning. Let us begin with what we know for certain. Mr. Thorne died of cyanide poisoning, administered through his evening tea. The poison acted quickly, within minutes. Administered means given, provided, often used for medicine or poison. The shop was locked from the inside. This suggests that either Mr. Thorne locked it himself after the murderer left, or the murderer had a key. Mr. Fletcher, you discovered the body and you possess a key. However, I do not believe you are the murderer. William, thank heaven! But why do you believe that, Inspector? Several reasons. First, you have worked loyally for 7 years. Loyally means faithfully, with dedication. Second, you have no apparent motive. You're not mentioned in Mr. Thorne's will, and you knew nothing of Lady Ashford's commission. Third, and most importantly, the poison was placed in the tea yesterday evening before you left for the day. The medical examiner's report confirms Mr. Thorne died at midnight, 6 hours after you departed. Departed is a formal word for left. To depart means to leave. William visibly relaxes. Visibly means in a way that can be seen clearly. Mr. Marcus Thorne, you claim you came to reconcile with your father, yet you have gambling debts totaling nearly £500. Your father's estate would clear those debts entirely. To clear debts means to pay them completely. Marcus, I admit I need money desperately, but I would never...
Charlotte, you would never murder your own father. Perhaps not. However, you did visit this shop yesterday evening. Marcus, how could you possibly know that? Charlotte, there is mud on the floor near the back entrance, a specific type of clay found only near the gambling dens of Whitechapel. You have the same mud on your boots. Furthermore, the constable reports that a neighbor saw a man matching your description entering through the back door at approximately 7 o'clock. Matching your description means looking like you, fitting your appearance. Marcus turns pale. To turn pale means to lose color in one's face, usually from shock or fear. Marcus, very well. Yes, I came. I needed money. I begged father to loan me enough to pay my most dangerous creditor. He refused. He said he would not enable my destructive habits. We argued bitterly. Charlotte, did you prepare his tea before you left? Marcus, Yes. Father asked me to make him tea. It was a small kindness he allowed me. But I swear, Inspector, I did not poison it. To swear in this context means to promise emphatically, to declare something is true.
Actually, Mr. Thorne, I believe you, because you made a crucial error in your account. A crucial error means a very important mistake. Marcus, what do you mean? Charlotte, you said your father died at midnight, but I never revealed the time of death to you. The only way you could know is if you were told or if you were present when he died. The room gasps. To gasp means to breathe in sharply from surprise or shock. Charlotte, but you were not present, which means someone told you, someone who knew the exact time, someone who was there.
She turns to face Lady Margaret Ashford. The truth that emerges means the reality becomes clear, is revealed. Charlotte. Lady Ashford, you have been remarkably silent during this interview. Remarkably means noticeably, to an unusual degree. Lady Margaret. I have nothing to hide, Inspector. To have nothing to hide means to be innocent, to have done nothing wrong. Charlotte. On the contrary, Lady Ashford, you have everything to hide. Those letters you wished to conceal in the pocket watch, they reveal your affair with a foreign diplomat, do they not? To conceal means to hide, to keep secret. An affair is a romantic relationship outside of marriage. A diplomat is an official representing their country in another nation. Lady Margaret. Inspector, I don't know what you're suggesting. To suggest here means to imply, to indicate indirectly. Charlotte. I am not suggesting, Lady Ashford. I am stating facts. Edmund Thorne discovered that your correspondent, the man you were writing to, was not merely a diplomat, but a spy. Your letters contained information about British naval movements, information you obtained from your husband, Admiral Ashford. Naval movements refer to the positions and actions of military ships. Obtained means acquired, gotten. You were not having a simple affair. You were, perhaps unwittingly, committing treason. Unwittingly means without realizing, unintentionally. Treason is the crime of betraying one's country.
This is preposterous, absurd.
Preposterous and absurd both mean ridiculous, impossible to believe. Mr. Thorne threatened to inform the authorities. You could not allow that. Your reputation, your position, your very freedom were at stake. At stake means at risk, in danger of being lost. You came here yesterday evening, shortly after Marcus departed. You had befriended Mr. Thorne over many months, gaining his trust. He made you tea, or rather, he allowed you to prepare it for both of you, but you only poisoned his cup. To gain trust means to make someone believe you are reliable and honest.
You cannot prove any of this.
Can I not? Constable, if you would be so kind as to search Lady Ashford's carriage, you will find the pocket watch hidden beneath the seat. Lady Ashford took it after Mr. Thorne died, believing it contained the incriminating letters. Incriminating means providing evidence of guilt. The constable leaves and returns 5 minutes later, holding an ornate pocket watch. Ornate means decorated in a complex, fancy way. But here is where your plan failed, Lady Ashford. Mr. Thorne suspected you might do exactly this. He removed the letters beforehand and left them in the possession of his solicitor, his lawyer, with instructions to deliver them to Scotland Yard if anything happened to him. Scotland Yard is the headquarters of London's police. Lady Margaret's composure crumbles. One's composure crumbles means their calm demeanor breaks down.
He left me no choice. Don't you see? He was going to destroy everything I had built. My position in society, my marriage, my life.
He left you every choice, Lady Ashford. You chose murder.
Resolution means the conclusion, the solving of the mystery. Lady Margaret Ashford is arrested and charged with murder. She will face trial at the Old Bailey, London's Central Criminal Court. To be charged with means to be formally accused of a crime. Marcus Thorne, though not a murderer, faces his own reckoning. A reckoning means a time when one must face the consequences of their actions. He must address his gambling debts and his troubled relationship with his late father's memory. William Fletcher inherits the clock shop as specified in Edmund Thorne's will. He vows to maintain his master's legacy. To vow means to make a serious promise. A legacy means something passed down, one's lasting impact. Now, dear learner, let us review what we have learned today. We have encountered over 50 essential vocabulary words and phrases used in formal English and mystery contexts. Inspector Charlotte Gray returns to her modest apartment as dawn breaks over London. She has solved another case through logic, observation, and careful attention to detail. But there are more mysteries waiting in the fog-shrouded streets of Victorian London, more opportunities to learn English through storytelling. Learning tip. The best way to improve your English is through immersion in stories. Listen to this video multiple times. Focus on different elements each time. First viewing, followed the story. Second viewing, note new vocabulary. Third viewing, practice pronunciation. Fourth viewing, analyze the grammar structures. Every great detective pays attention to details. Every great English learner does the same. Thank you for joining me on this mysterious journey through Victorian London. If you enjoyed this story and want more English learning adventures, please subscribe to this channel. Leave a comment telling me which time period or mystery you'd like to explore next. Until next time, keep practicing, keep learning, and remember, the answer is always in the details. Good evening, dear learner, and good luck on your English learning journey.